survival dog gear. Here are a few of the basic equipment that you will need to care for and train your dog. First off, you need a collar. It doesn't have to be reflective. It can just be any single color if you like. It should have on the inside of it your information. The information on the collar should be the dog's name, the owner's name, and address. This is just a standard leash, but you can have longer leashes if you like. You can have shorter leashes if you like. I usually like to have a dog on a 6-foot lead for walking, because you can let the dog run ahead of you, or you can have the dog right beside you. You can customize it. I don't recommend the retractable leashes because they're usually not sturdy at all and they break easily. You can have a leash like this and just take it and wrap it around your hand to shorten it. It's just simple, and when your dog wants to go ahead, just loosen your grip. Also, with collars, I don't recommend having the leash attached to a collar because if your dog gets excited, they can choke themselves. I like a harness.
You want to have a body harness. It has a Y front. This is the most comfortable type of harness for your dog. Other harnesses put pressure onto parts of the body that you do not want it to be, like this H-style harness. Even though it also goes around the belly, it puts a lot of strain on the neck when you're pulling. The weight is not distributed anywhere other than the neck on this type of harness. On this type of harness, the weight is distributed through the shoulders. This is your best type. For dogs who pull, this is the only type of harness I'd recommend. I do not recommend anti-pull harnesses or harnesses that inhibit their movement or pinch them because it's painful. Now, this type of harness is a very popular anti-pull harness for a dog, or just a plain walking harness. Their legs go through here, and their neck goes through there. I don't recommend these ones because I have not personally yet met a dog who was comfortable at all in this type of harness. That doesn't mean that there aren't dogs who are comfortable. I see a lot of dogs in the city with this type of harness, and they're walking like they're in pain. They're just having a hard time. About collars, the only type of collar I do recommend is the flat buckle collar for identification purposes only. Never attach a lead to a collar because it puts a lot of strain on the dog's neck and can cause injury. You want to stay away from any of the so-called training collars that slide up and down. These cause a lot of neck injuries on dogs, especially when they are not put on right. When you're putting it on a dog, you always want it to be a P, but some people put it on backwards, and when you're over here, it doesn't loosen. You can see there, because most people stand on the left side. This is not going to work. You want to stay clear of this type of collar and prong collars, pinch collars. Stay away from those. They cause a lot of injury on the dog's neck.
You will want toys for your dog. Most dogs love squeaky toys.
I made this one out of a rope. If you are doing any type of training where you want your dog to learn to pull a rope, you never know when that task will come in handy, take a chunk of the rope that you are going to want your dog to pull. That way the dog already is used to the feeling of that particular type of rope. There's many types of toys on the market. Kong-type toys are the best because they're the most durable, but you have to be careful because all of them have a hole in the bottom, but not all of them have a hole in the top. So when your dog is chewing, their tongue could get sucked into there, and it's quite painful. So if you get a type of toy like this that has an entry hole but not an exit hole, take a needle or an awl and drill a hole in the top just so there's no suction. You'll also need grooming implements for your dog. I use a plastic comb, but I think that a steel comb is better because with the plastic comb it does build up static electricity. Shedding blades are also a very important thing if you have a Nordic breed dog or a dog with a very thick undercoat. Because I tell you, a regular comb just won't do it. You need a shedding blade or a slicker brush for the thicker breeds. For the grooming implements, you want to research your dog's type of coat and work with the tools that is required to keep that coat maintained.
You're going to need your toenail clippers, because living out in the woodland area, you're not as, the dog does not wear down its nails on the concrete, so the nails have to be trimmed. Some people think that dogs and cats don't need their nails trimmed because they think that the nails don't grow, but that's foolishness. I have seen dogs whose nails are so long that they curled around like a snail shell and embedded into the dog's toe pad, and it was extremely painful to the dog. And when the nail grows, it actually lifts the toe off of the ground so that the dog's not getting proper grip, and it's like pulling your nails upward. It's painful. It hurts.
You will want water bottles. You can recycle juice bottles and little fruit cups for drinking dishes, or you can use the military-style canteens.
I like to have bandanas either worn on the dog or in the dog's pack, because in an emergency you can use them as a bandage. You can use them as a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. You can use them to collect food. If you come upon a patch of blueberries, for example, you can just take your bandana, fill it with your stuff, and then tie it up.
Something that I like, that I'm really impressed with, is a pup pack. It's a backpack for dogs. They come in many styles, but you'll have to research them to see which one is right for your type of dog, because not every pup pack is good for each individual dog breed or size. Pup packs are very good for camping and trekking with your dog. If you're going out on a long hike, your dog can carry a lot of equipment for itself, but you don't want to overload your dog. Depending on your breed, depends on how much weight it can hold. In the pup pack, I carry a first aid kit, face mask, soup mixes, trash bags. I carry basically everything that I will need with me to survive overnight in the woods. You always want to carry your little doggy pickup bags. I have a collapsible water dish, fill up with water or food. This is very good to have because it's lightweight and it curls up into a very tight little packet here. I also carry dog treats and peppermints to give your dog and yourself a boost of energy in the wilderness. Another thing that I also carry that I mix up fresh before I go out is I make up some instant oatmeal packets, not store-bought ones, but ones I home make. I make up one packet for myself and one packet with a recipe that I use for the dog.
And that's because I feed my animals a natural diet, which is no canned food, no kibble. I only feed them that stuff when I'm either not going to be home. I leave them out a little bit of dry kibble, or if I have somebody coming to my house to care for my animals while I'm away, I will say to give them canned food with a little bit of vegetable matter. A lot of people find it very tiring and time-consuming to cook for their animals, but I rather enjoy it because I know that my animals are being fed right.
I, of course, train with a clicker. There's a lot of information online on how to train with clickers. Depending on what time of the year or where you will be hiking or camping, you might want to have a reflective bright vest for your dog. This is for their safety, especially during hunting seasons. Again, this is just basic equipment that I use for my dogs. It doesn't have to be like this. You can have different things. It all depends on your breed and your dog's age and their specialty that you are using them for. Some dogs, you might need a carting harness if you have a cart dog. You might need a sled harness if you're using a sled and different things like that. Different toys. I mean, not all dogs like tennis balls. Some dogs are crazy for frisbees. And some dogs don't like ropes, so have in your kit whatever toy your dog likes.